Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Investment Opportunities for our network members, as well as anybody out there in the YouTube world as well. You could reach out to us so we can discuss opportunities in this particular market, and which is Southwest Florida. And welcome, my co-host today is Justin Zawodny, our network realtor from Southwest Florida growth market. Welcome, Justin. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me back again, Mr. Yi.
Very good. Thank you. Justin specializes with out-of-state investors from all over the country. Not only that, from all over the world. I know Justin's face, he looks very young enough to be my son, whatever. But Justin is a very experienced, very reputable, have a strong track record, not only with our network that we've been working with him for like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years now. And usually all of our investors, so mainly from California, are investors who have purchased cash flow properties from Justin in the Southwest Florida market. They have some high praise for Justin. So anyway, today, again, we have this monthly series, monthly update, because there's so much going on in Southwest Florida market. We can dispel all the misconceptions, all the rumors, all the fake news out there. And so, Justin, because you have boots on the ground, you have a turnkey approach, you are one-stop shop, you are the network realtor for out-of-state investors, you have a property management company, you take care of investors so well, and we have done so well with you. So with that in mind, I know just go over what is going on, some amazing opportunities in your market. So we only have like 15, 20 minutes left. So go ahead and dive in. What you have for us? What are some of these amazing deals do you have in your market, which gonna get us excited? Go ahead, Justin. Take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Yi. Yeah, we're really excited again. Just expanding on what we talked about last webinar with the LaBelle market. More data is continuing to come in, and it's just looking stronger and stronger, really. The first thing I wanted to share today is just some data from Zillow, which Zillow, it can be hit or miss. It's no data source is perfect, but it is one of the largest groups, bringing data together, analyzing data, and forecasting what's going to happen moving forward. And as we move forward over the next 12 months, you can see a 6.3 forecasted value increase is phenomenal. I don't know where that range is when you rank all the markets in the country, but I have to think we're talking like the top 0.5% of markets. I don't know very many forecasting that amount of growth. It's certainly the best in the Southwest Florida market, that's for sure. Some of the key points also here, besides just that forecasted value increase, is the typical home value, right? You can see the typical home value is right around 300,000 right now. With our approach to rental properties, we want to have the most accessible homes in the market with the most potential renters. We're doing brand new construction homes for well below that number. So if we're buying homes for less than that number, it means these are very everyday homes that we can rent to any potential renter in the market. Our tenant pool is as big as possible. We're not only looking at that luxury rental market, we're renting to anybody and pulling in some phenomenal tenants. So it's nice to see that we're still getting these deals well below that average value still for that market. And the goal for right now in LaBelle is staying ahead of the curve. Right? That's our theme for this webinar, staying ahead of the curve. And what do we mean by that? Right now, there are deals. I'll tell you, from deals that we've negotiated for our clients over the last couple of months in this market, we can get deals from the builder. End of discussion. Some really strong negotiations that we've been able to get great deals on. Secondly, staying ahead of the interest rate. Everyone hears the rumors. Everyone knows interest rates are projected to drop over the remainder of this calendar year and likely into 2025. No one knows for sure, but that's the strong, agreed upon likely outcome. If that's the case, locking in a contract now prior to those drops is a huge opportunity. When we sign these contracts, that price is locked. It doesn't matter how much values go up or down. It's what we're buying it for. They don't worry about interest rates. They don't worry about anything else. It's set. We're buying the home for that deal. We lock in a price now for a home that's not closing until December or January or February. That's a lot of time for interest rates to continue to come down, which is just going to make it an even better deal, create even more cash flow, and just make it an even stronger investment. So staying ahead of those interest rate drops is very important. Another example, we're going to switch pictures here. We'll go over to a map of Southwest Florida for everybody. Staying ahead of the curve in the sense of staying ahead of the population migration. We've talked about this before and touch on it again here. Look at this area. I don't know if you see my cursor or not, but over here on the west side of Interstate 75, that area is very densely populated area. There's not much space left to continue building more homes. The prices in that area are getting very expensive.
$1 million, $2 million.
And if you see this area over here, this is Sanibel Island. I would say average is probably 5 to 7 million. This area over here, Fort Myers Beach, the average is probably 3 to 5 million. Down here in Naples, there's a zip code where the average price is about 35 million. Right? We're not taking those properties. It's just not happening. But as these homes are becoming more and more luxury focused, the average person is not buying a $5 million home to live in. It's just not possible. It's causing people to move further and further inland, on the other center of the state, areas like LaBelle. So buying these homes now as that population continues to filter inland is important because we're locking in our lower price. We're locking in our strong cash flow that will continue to improve over the years, and values will continue to rise over the years as more and more people continue to filter inland. Another interesting fact, it's something that we and Mr. D were discussing before the webinar, very real, we say unique aspect of Florida is the amount of protected land, the amount of land that's never going to be built on ever. You can even see a couple of pockets here in this picture, right? Look at this pocket up here north of Cape Coral where it's just trees, or over here, just on the other side of 75, or even down here south of Naples. This is protected swampland. It will never be built on. Certainly not in my lifetime, and quite frankly, probably never, ever in the history of the world. So when we look, I'm going to pull up one more slide here. When we look at the size of Florida, we all know Florida's one of, I believe it's the 4th most populated state in the country, or 3rd or 4th. I believe it's 4th. But we look at the land area, you'll notice there's just not that much of it. You look at some states up here, large states, Alaska, Texas, California. Texas and California are very populated, but look at how much land there is that could be built on. Some of California is protected, but over 100,000 square miles of buildable land where people could live. It just allows everyone to continue to spread out. And at some point that caps property values. It can't go up because we just keep building further and further out and spreading our cities out, and the values don't go up anymore. Whereas look at Florida down here. It's the 22nd largest state in the country, right? 65,000 square miles, but 30% of that is protected land that will not be built on. So imagine that we're just over 40,000 square miles of buildable land. At some point, you can't spread out anymore. The population is here. The homes are built. The land is used. And that's it. The only way you could ever buy again is to buy from a home that exists. And values continue to go up as there's less and less land to build new development. So staying ahead of that curve is, again, very important. Getting those new developments while they're there on vacant land.
Justin, let me give you a quick point. Do you know Florida is the fastest growing state in the country for several years now? Furthermore, so far, maybe up to last year, there are 1,000 people moving to Florida every single day. So just do the math. There are 365 days in a year. Each day, 1,000 people moving. The 365,000 people are migrating into Florida. I know recently we're not going to expect 1,000 people continue to do it every day because you have some hurricane issues, some insurance issue, condo issues, whatever. Okay, maybe not moving forward. Maybe not 1,000 people, maybe 950 people per day instead of 1,000. But my point is, It's just Florida just growing so fast. Still today, it's Justin, it's simple economics 101, something that all of us should have been taught in ninth grade. When the demand is greater than supply,
Mhm.
pressures for home prices to go up. And this is what we're seeing, regardless of all the crash bros out there putting out those doom and gloom videos out there, scaring everybody there's a housing crash. They've been talking about this for the past number of years and it hasn't happened. Home prices continue to go up year over year in the past 3, 4, 5 years. In fact, home prices in Florida has gone up ever since the Great Recession in 2008. 15 years straight, consistent growth. Okay, anyway, that's all I have to say. Yeah, land is so precious. You are buying land, right? You're not, yeah, you're buying a house on top of the land, but the value proposition in Florida, you are buying the land.
I think there's a really key point. Again, staying on our theme of staying ahead of the curve, right? You're talking about supply and demand. Go back to 2021, 2022. The market was crazy. We had very high demand and a low supply. We had a national shortage of houses in the millions, right? So we said we can't have values going up this fast. It's going up too fast. We need to slow it down. So the Fed raised the interest rate and that brought demand down, right? But all we did was bring the demand down. We have not fixed the supply issue yet. So staying ahead of the curve, as this interest rate comes down and demand starts to increase again, we haven't fixed the supply. It's going to continue to raise those prices. There is no solution here, especially in an area like Southwest Florida, where people continue to move to the supply issue. We suppressed the problem. We didn't fix it. So this window, staying ahead of the curve before those rates drop, is a really strong opportunity, not just in the long term. We've always talked, these are strong wealth building opportunities. But even in the shorter term, I have to think values rise fairly rapidly over the next 18, 24, 36 months, very early in the ownership of this investment, making it successful just right from the start. And then long term building wealth for our clients, not just making money, building through wealth.
To your point, Justin, investors that are smart, that pull the trigger right now, they lock in the price and all that. You date to the interest rate, but you marry the investment property. You can always refinance down the road. Furthermore, when the mortgage rate, if the mortgage rate decrease next year to like 6% or lower, all those people who are sitting on the sidelines, they could flood the market with so much demand, then it costs price to go up, costs us more competition. The deal that you won, you could have had today, you failed to take advantage of today's somewhat of a small window of a buyer's market where you can negotiate with a builder for some amazing incentives and great deals and cash flow with 25% down payment in LaBelle. You said to yourself, you're going to be a happy camper. You put the trigger in front of the competition, because when the competition hits everywhere, it's going to happen. Okay. We systematic, historic lack of supply inventory issues, not only in Florida, but all over the country. So we're teaching you to be informed, to be smart, to be a savvy investor, to adopt this contrarian thinking. Go the opposite direction. Do not follow the herd. Do not stay on the sideline and hoping for the perfect time to buy. There will never be a perfect time to buy, right? So anyway, go ahead, continue, Justin.
Yeah, I think even now there's an investor from your network, who tells me, yeah, every time we speak, back when I bought that home a couple of years back with you, I wish I had bought 5 instead of just the one. I'm like, we could all look back and looking into the past, it's 2020, what happened, and say, oh, I wish. The key isn't timing the market. The key is getting into the market and letting time, work, and letting the market work. And letting the home be occupied and making a boring investment that builds wealth long term. If we think we're going to time it, when we buy it today, and in 2 years we sell it and we make a 70% return on our money, and we're the smartest investor out there, we're never going to buy. Because I'm never going to be able to tell you when to buy. Mr. Yee's never going to be able to tell you when to buy, because we don't know when that opportunity is. But what we do know So there are opportunities in LaBelle with very negotiable prices right now, strong rent numbers and cash flow.
Give us some examples, Justin.
Right now, I believe the 4-bedroom, 2-bath model in LaBelle, brand new construction, 1,500 square feet, they are asking out at least 285 to 290 is the ask price, maybe even 295. I can tell you that's their ask price. We will negotiate it lower than that significantly. The rent on that home, it depends on each deal. There's a lot of ways that we can structure the deal. It's very difficult to say exactly what the price would be, but there's flexibility, whether it means credits for the buyer or just money off the price or buy down of the interest rate. There's lots of different options on ways we can negotiate with the builder right now. So it is difficult to say we'll negotiate to this price because it's very customizable to the specific buyer. And that's why we work with each buyer individually to make it proper for them. But once we get that price locked in, and we're talking about an area in LaBelle where it's out of the flood zones, so we have no flood insurance required and very low risk of flooding. It's further inland, which means further away from the severe impacts of hurricanes, where we see the coastal flooding in the stronger winds. Still risk of hurricanes, but likely weaker by the time they hit LaBelle. We're talking about an area with high rents. A home that we could purchase for the high 200s is renting for $2,300, $2,350 per month. We're as close to the 1% rule as I've ever seen in Southwest Florida. And I would think, Mr. Yee, probably similar for you. It's very difficult in Southwest Florida to hit the 1% rent to value ratio. And this is very close to that.
Well, absolutely. At the end of the day, Justin, at the end of the day, whether there's a builder buy down the rate for us or for the investors or whatever, at the end of the day, the blueprint is to buy in your market is to buy LaBelle, high 200K. That's fine. With all the incentives and builders buy down, all you need is 25% down payment and all the numbers work out. You will cash flow a couple $100 per month. Some of you asking, I'm only getting a couple $100 a month. No. Well, you're not going to get rich off cash flow. You have to project 5 to 10 years from now, okay? This is not a get rich quick scheme. Cash flow is just one small component of your real estate investment. There are other pillars of wealth, which is the mortgage rate buy down by your tenant, which is big tax benefit you're going to get, depreciation, cost mitigation, and whatever. And then appreciation potential 3 to 5% projected long-term appreciation and what else? And the power of leverage.
It's a wealth building tool. It's a wealth building tool. The number of clients who come to me and go, oh, but it's only 100 in cash flow. What does that do for me? That is the wrong look. If we're just looking for monthly income to offset our job, this isn't really what this investment is for. It's not. The goal of this is to build long-term wealth. We're going to have a property that's going to go up in value. I just showed you they're projecting almost 7% in the next 1 year of increased value. And that happens year after year. We will increase rent over time, which means increased cash flow, which is good, but cash flow is almost negligible in this equation. The real key is we're going to have a property that people are going to move in and pay rent every month and buy down the mortgage for you. Your mortgage buy down, paid for by someone else's money, will be greater than your cash flow probably for the first 4 to 5 years. That is where you build wealth. You're buying down a mortgage, the value is going up, you're making that gap for equity bigger and bigger, which 5, 6, 7 years down the road, now we can start talking about selling a property or refinancing to go buy another or whatever. The number of options, number of routes this can take after the first 5 years, there's probably 12 to 15 different scenarios that could play out. It's just so flexibility.
Justin, let me tell you one more thing. By getting a great tenant, if a tenant is paying you $2,300 per month, they are high quality tenant. They're making like 80 grand, 100 grand per year, but they cannot afford to buy yet. They're not ready to buy. They want to rent for the next 2, 3, 4 years. I have to believe each one of your tenants that you're managing for the past few years, they are staying there 2 or 3, 4 years, not 1 year, right?
No, I would say in Southwest Florida, our average is probably 3 to 5 years. We certainly have properties where we have turnover every year, and that's fine. Our vacancy periods are comparatively to other places in the country very short. We don't struggle to find new tenants, but the whole goal is keep this property occupied, keep rent money coming in, keep paying off that mortgage with someone else's money, and build wealth. And there's a proven track record of that working, not just for the last 3 or 5 years when it got popular, for the last 40 years in Southwest Florida, that plan has worked. And that's all we're trying to continue.
One more thing people underestimate: when you buy new construction, you have warranty. You have a 1 year warranty of the appliances, whatever. You have a 10-year warranty of the roof, whatever. Furthermore, by buying new construction, your CapEx, your expenditure, your maintenance, your upkeep is very low. If you compare this to older properties in the Midwest somewhere, when someone buy for very cheap, yeah, you get a good paper, high cash flow. But over time,
Everything.
all the vacancies, all the transient tenant, if you buy in the Midwest, a much older home, 100-year-old home, and all the maintenance and upkeep, doesn't matter how much you rehab those 100-year-old properties in the Midwest, but you will pay the maintenance and upkeep, and the vacancies will wipe out all the cash flow people would get if they were to buy in the wrong market, such as the Midwest. I'm not saying Midwest is bad, but think about all the thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. If you hold this new construction property in a growth market over the next 5, 10, 15 years, calculate how much money you save by not having those excessive vacancies, not having those capital expenditures, maintenance and upkeep, and all that stuff. 10 years from now, 15 years from now, your new house you bought today, if it's only 10 and 15 years new, 10 to 15 years from now, think about that.
I would say maintenance in LaBelle, as long as the property is occupied, is between $200 to $600 per year. That's very low. Now, when a tenant moves out, we have to do some certain maintenance. When there's turnover, you might spend $800 during turnover. Low. That's low. And that's something that would probably the first 5 years of ownership be a pretty standard estimation. And that's very low maintenance. And when you compare it to those properties in the Midwest, not only is the maintenance higher, those cash flow properties in the Midwest or states like Alabama, where you can buy properties for 100,000. Yeah, they were going to make 800 a month in cash flow. That's great. But you bought it for 100,000, which was the price of the property back in 2000, and it's going to be the price of the property in 2040. That 800 a month better really add up, because that's all you're making. It's very different than an area like Southwest Florida that truthfully, it's about the appreciation, it's about the mortgage buy down, and it's about building long-term wealth, not just some quick income each month. That's really not, that's not the kind of investment we're talking about by any means.
Justin, I think with the few minutes we have remaining, I don't know what other important topics you want to discuss before we conclude with this presentation. I think, Justin, clearly we have addressed all the potential objections any investors may have. We cover all the bases. I can't think of anything that we left out in terms of that are things that are important for an investor, because we're buying a trophy asset really in a still growing market, regardless what people. Right now we have a little bit of a buyer's market because inventory has gone higher, but it's not. But we get into a market. It's all about neighborhoods. There's no such thing as a national real estate market. You buy in a specific neighborhood, and real estate is local. We all know that, okay? I have to repeat that. Real estate local. Every local market is very different. Justin, by you having foot on the ground, by your track record, have a turnkey approach you have working with investors long term, you know what neighborhood to buy. You know what builders to work with. You know all the great deals you're getting right now, okay? So anything we left out, anything recap you need to?
I think the biggest recap is just that, right? There's no such thing as a national real estate market. There's not even a state real estate market. For me to compare Orlando to Tampa to Miami to LaBelle, it's not the same. It's not. For me to compare LaBelle to Fort Myers, they're only 25 minutes apart. They're not the same way. Buying the home, no two deals are the same for two different investors. We can negotiate so many different terms. It's so customizable. Even the market right now, I see LaBelle, I see a strong opportunity. But if we have an investor who would really like Cape Coral, would really like Naples, we can certainly help them find what they want and put it together. We can work in any area of Southwest Florida. The key is having that discussion, having that introduction, and starting the conversation, figure out what works specifically for you. And the whole key is if you're interested in the Southwest Florida market, get in touch with Mr. E. He's going to make sure that you're ready, make sure everything fits what you're looking for. He's going to get you in touch with me. We're going to talk about our purchase process, the management process once you buy it, any expenses you should be planning for, start identifying individual properties. I go out to the property, we'll do a FaceTime, Zoom from the property. You could fly out here, come visit us. We'll show you the properties, negotiate the deal, get under contract, coordinate any inspections, finish the closing, and then immediately get that property up for rent. We handle everything from having the idea we would like to invest in Southwest Florida to owning that property and managing tenant relations on your behalf. We do it all. The key is starting. If you have any interest, get in touch with Mr. E so we can start that process for you.
Absolutely, Justin. Thank you so much. We're having a monthly Zoom update on your market. There's so much going on in your market, and we love working with you. You have helped so many of our investors over the past few years. They are so happy with their experience, and I don't see anything changing for the foreseeable future. Thank you, Justin, so much. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Have a nice day.